issue from the U.S. government, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not going back to Jamaica because I don't want to be killed."
Yeah, I even had a friend of my sister's who canceled her travel plans to Jamaica just because the U.S. government put a travel advisory out for Jamaica, which I thought was...
Hey y'all, welcome back to our YouTube channel, All Things Hoskins. I'm Shanae, RN Basin, and this is...
Joseph.
Future pastor.
I'm Joseph.
Alright, so we did a video a few weeks ago about cultural differences, culture shocks at least. Me coming to the US and things that I didn't expect to see, and then I saw, I'm like, wow, I did not know that was a thing. And then him, when he came to Jamaica and he saw a few things and he was like, ooh, I didn't know that was a thing. And
yeah, that patois is still a thing for me. I'm still trying to decode that mystery.
Well, guess what? I'm not a good teacher, so I haven't been teaching him because I can't bother with all that.
Oh, wow.
Me can't bother.
Hush.
What that mean?
That means you can't be bothered with me. Basically,
okay. How
it sounds.
Can't bother. But one day we teach you.
Yeah, one day I'll learn patois.
Okay, but he's learning a little bit. He can understand, like, yeah.
Bits and pieces.
Right. All right. So today, there were some concerns about that video. If you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch it. Some people are on there, you know, saying their experience of Jamaica and their experience of the US and that there shouldn't be any comparison. But the thing is, comparison is what we all should be doing.
I mean, it's healthy. It's healthy to analyze cultures, you know, and there are good things and not so good things about every culture. So.
Right. So it's fine. It's good to compare. That's how improvement happens, and that's how conversations are had. Right. And it wasn't even like what is better than the other. Right. We're just stating our piece. Mm-hmm. Okay. So today we'll be even speaking even further on why some people will never go back to Jamaica, because I hear that from some people, like, oh, I'll never go back to Jamaica. Jamaica is too ghetto and this and that. Like, okay. First of all, some people will never go back to Jamaica, and some of the main reasons for that is a lot of people weren't grown into like the upscale areas of Jamaica or the more developed areas. And so they had lacked a lot of things while they were in Jamaica. Also, I have noticed that some of these people are concerned about crime. Like they'll hear about either a family member dying or a close friend dying due to violence, or they hear of the crime rate,
right,
or even the issue from the U.S. government, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm not going back to Jamaica because I don't want to be killed.
Yeah, I even had a friend of my sister's who canceled her travel plans to Jamaica just because the U.S. government put a travel advisory out for Jamaica, which I thought was stupid, but my personal opinion.
Yeah. So yeah. I do understand those concerns. I'm saying it's valid. If you're not feeling safe, you don't feel comfortable with going somewhere, that's okay. But for those of us who do, yeah. Because to me, the good outweighs the bad, right? But then again, everybody's entitled to their opinion and their choices, because at the end of the day, you don't want to go anywhere where you feel uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, being safe is, you know, the best policy. And, but... you know, you also got to realize that, you know, some of these stereotypes are attached for other means.
Right.
And so for political purposes.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you have to do what's comfortable for you and your family, you know, so.
Rightfully so. Okay, so one topic that I realized a lot of people had concerns with too is healthcare. And, I would like to debunk it in some ways, but in other ways, it's rightfully so. For instance, we do not have like an ambulance service in Jamaica. Like we do have ambulance service, but that's just for like developed areas like a Kingston, and it may not be available to go to different houses. So we find that in Jamaica, if you have an incident, you call the police will show up. However, it may take a while. So what people do is they'll call a taxi, or if they drive or they have a neighbor, they'll allow their neighbor to take them to the hospital, which works a lot of the times. For me, in emergency situations, while I worked at the hospital, most of the times it would be like a taxi that will bring somebody to the hospital. So if you can get to a taxi in time, it works out. And also, if you have a family member, it works out also. But the only thing is you won't be getting the care that you need while you're in transit to the hospital. And it depends on how far you live from the hospital also. So there is also an issue with, oh yeah, my baby. Okay. There was also an issue with the overcrowding in the hospitals.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's...
We had that here too.
Yeah, because remember that hospital that I gave birth at?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the emergency area is crowded. And the reason for that is because a lot of people come to the emergency room with non-emergent issues. And in the hospital, we have a system called a triage, which gives people like a level. So if you are at emergency level, you'll get to go in first, which means your life and death. And then there's like the in between, they'll be seen after, and then there's like, you don't need to be seen right now, or you could have gone to a healthcare center or something like that.
Okay.
But that's not saying if you're sick and it's a night, if it's in the night, you should definitely go seek help. Right? So what are some things you think why somebody would never go back to Jamaica, say they'll never go back to Jamaica?
So a reason why I believe that is because people are sometimes they're tricked, they're deceived by what they see in the media, and they're just like we mentioned earlier, the travel advisories. Some of it is media oriented, some of it is politically motivated. I mean, there are various factors as to why this happens, but people also see the crime levels in Jamaica. The crime levels are some of the highest in the Western Hemisphere. And often case, it's contract killing, babe, isn't it?
Yeah, most of the times it's like...
it's not just random acts of violence that you would see.
It's like it's triggered. But you do have people who are being killed innocently by these gunmen. Much more in some areas than others. And so you'll find that some areas in Jamaica, like a normal citizen will never venture into. You don't have any reason to anyways. But just so you know, like, normal citizens will never go into that area. Like, I've never been into a crime-ridden area. Like
Trenchtown.
Yeah,
that's where Bob Marley grew up.
But I do realize that a lot of people are now visiting it. Tourists are going to Jamaica and visiting it, and like normal Jamaicans will never. But
what I've heard is that some tourists are actually safer in crime-ridden communities than locals, because the criminals recognize that tourism is a vital part of the economy.
Right.
Yeah, and if they hurt or harm tourists, then the politicians are going to come for them.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we don't, like, I don't know if it's the same in other areas, but more than likely you'll just not venture into an area and somebody just kill you like that. They'll find out why you're there, and if you probably can't, maybe I don't know about these things, so I can't really like speak on it, but we never ever hear of any crime happening to a tourist. Like, people, there's a reason why Jamaica is so sought after. The culture is amazing.
Right.
But I'll leave that part to the end. Let me just continue talking about the issues that a lot of people facing going back. And I remember even during COVID, when we couldn't travel overseas and the hotels were cheaper, so much Jamaicans could access the hotel. So if a lot of people don't come to Jamaica, we'll be fine. Like when they sent out
a lot of wealthy Jamaicans.
When they sent out not even really that, but when they sent out the advisory, some people were on social media like, I'm not canceling my trip. I just came back from my trip and I was fine. And some people were like, yeah, some of you don't need to come so we can get to go to the hotels cheaper. It's a thing. But I'm saying, like, for people who had a bad experience in Jamaica, or they hear of stuff, they were like, I'm not going back. And it's okay, because the thing is, as enslaved people coming from Africa, a lot of us aren't even original. Like, that's not where we derive from. Can I use that term?
Originated, probably.
Originated.
The best.
Yeah.
I mean, but you guys have been in Jamaica now since the 1700s.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, like, you don't get to choose where you're born.
That's true.
So if it is that you're not comfortable with it, then that's okay. Okay. You can choose to live elsewhere since you're not comfortable with your living conditions, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so and it's the same for people who are leaving the US. Like, okay, they don't like the system here, so let me just move to another country where I feel like I can live a more wholesome life. You okay, booby? So that's one of the reasons. Another one that I think
reason why is because people, and I know we discussed this at length, but I think there are people in Jamaica who don't understand the value of the dollar in the U.S. And so when relatives immigrate overseas, they're constantly badgering them and begging them for money.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to live overseas, y'all. It's expensive.
A lot of Jamaicans don't know that, and they need to learn. And I think they're learning now, but I think because they see that the dollar in Jamaica is like what, 150
Jamaican
plus,
dollars.
US
150 plus Jamaican dollars to
one US
dollar.
So I can just imagine that's 150 something percent more, right? So the dollar here is way stronger, but Jamaica is expensive.
Very expensive. Like food, gas, it's like I mentioned in the previous video, it feels like someone is drilling a hole in my pocket. The money just disappearing like I feel like somebody's just stealing it. I gotta keep checking my pocket. See, I feel like I'm getting pickpocketed out here, What happened to my wallet? There's nothing in it.
You're too extra. So, yeah, that's the actual thing. Like, a dollar is a dollar in a country. Even though it's easier to, like, get by here, for some people it's not so easy. And that's another reason why some people never return to Jamaica, is they can't afford to go back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember the story about a relative of yours who's been here for a number of years. And, they can't afford to go back to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just recently got his visa. But he has to save up money because it's so expensive in Jamaica. You
can't go and not be able to pay your way through. You have to, even though transportation is cheap, but if you live away from the main areas, like if you live in deep rural areas, you need like more money for transportation, especially if you want to get a charter taxi. It's gonna cost more.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna need food, and everything costs money, like everything.
I remember when we were in Montego Bay one time, and we were shopping at a supermarket. I wanted to make my wife some shrimp nachos for dinner, and it was a bag of nachos probably about this big, guys. It normally would cost about maybe $3 in the US. Yeah. But in Jamaica, it was almost $10. So I hit the pause button. I said, "We're not having nachos tonight, sweetheart." I said, "We can't. I can't." As y'all would say in Jamaica, "Me can't manage."
Can't bother.
That's what y'all say. Me can't bother.
Yeah. So that's a thing. And we are speaking lightly of it, but it's rough. Like, it's hard for a lot of people. So anytime they get the opportunity, and I guess that is why some people will run off. That's a term that is given to people who really they come to the US legally, but they'll overstay their visa, and then they'll just not go back until they are clear. Or some will just stay.
Yeah, they'll just
stay.
They'll live the life of an illegal alien.
Yeah, and you find that with a lot of other cultures.
I hate calling people aliens, but
I guess that's the term.
I know that's the term, but people aren't from Mars.
Illegal immigrants.
Yeah. I'm correct. I'm trying to be politically correct in 2024. Illegal immigrants, not aliens. We're people.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, I truly believe that everybody should have freedom to move around to any country in the world. I truly believe that if you are a law-abiding citizen, I think you should be able to go everywhere. And I think people who, and then we just celebrated, like, let me even go back to that. We just celebrated our Independence and Emancipation Day in Jamaica. Those are two big holidays. And the thing is, I believe we shouldn't have been freed, honestly. Because,
wow.
Yeah.
You don't believe y'all should have been freed?
No, I mean freed from slavery.
Oh,
but independence.
Oh, under the British Crown.
Yeah,
shouldn't have been freed.
We shouldn't have been taken from underneath it, because at the end of the day, no, they're not obligated to give us back what they took from us.
Right. I've heard other Jamaicans say that, and another reason why is because the dollar, the Jamaican economy is weaker because you guys are independent from Britain. I heard prior to your independence from Britain, you guys had a very strong economy.
Yeah, it was good. But then you get free because we're an island. So a lot of things we don't have. And if we're going to improve on our infrastructures and everything, which is happening, like some of the best restaurants, the best hotels, the best staycations I've ever been on is in Jamaica.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm trying to find those same things around here. And we have to go to different states because it's just not everywhere. Yeah, so some of the best places I've stayed in is actually in Jamaica. But we need to improve on stuff, and the things we don't have a lot of those things. A lot of those things are natural occurring to our country, so we have to import a lot of things. And I think it's that bad management too. But then in order to build certain things, the government may need more money, so they borrow money, and so
IMF.
And then we don't know what the politicians do, but I don't even want to get too political because
those Jamaican politicians. Well, we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going there.
But you can kind of guess what we're talking about. People are just too greedy, Right. And that's not just in Jamaica. That's politicians worldwide. They don't care about the interests of the people.
You laughing? You laughing? Okay, go see your daddy. One of the last things that I wanted to talk about in regards to why some Jamaicans will never return back to Jamaica is negative experiences. And this could sum up everything that we just spoke of, but I wanted to be more specific. Whether you were grown in an area where you were not treated well, if you're from a crime-ridden area, a low-income area, or for your personal choices in your lifestyle. For instance, some gays, which our culture is highly homophobic, so some of them may feel threatened and may leave Jamaica, will never return, especially if you're from a particular area. However, it's valid, and as I said before, if you hear a noise, it's our baby. He's cooing. He's cooing, but we need to still finish our video. He's just giving his input. He's saying like, it's okay. It's people's preference and it's valid. As a Jamaican, sometimes we can tend to be very defensive. We're like, okay, why you have to? But everybody's entitled to their own opinion and their own choices. Even Jesus didn't force anybody to choose him.
That's true.
He gave us a choice.
Yep.
And so if you don't feel comfortable in a country, I feel like if you have the opportunity to leave and create the life that you want to create for yourself, go ahead and do it. And thankfully so, the US actually offers that to some people. So thank God for the US.
Right. And to kind of piggyback off your point, I think that Jamaican people are very traumatized because just think about it, like a lot of Jamaicans have to migrate in order to earn a living. So who would want to leave that beautiful island to go to a foreign country?
Yeah.
You know, so I think the economic crisis in Jamaica, along with having to migrate, you know, and that just, you know, creates an atmosphere of tension and aggression, because it also it creates divisiveness between Jamaicans, because what I've heard is that some Jamaicans have quote unquote beef with Jamaicans who are living overseas. You know, maybe
They do.
Yeah, maybe you can elaborate that.
Yeah, and some of that is because of property too.
Okay.
Like they feel that property isn't like shared equally. Some people, I've heard of an instance where somebody come from overseas and their brother killed him. I think that was in the news at one point. And it's because people feel like they're treated unfairly. And as I said, sometimes Jamaicans tend to seem aggressive, so some, you know, will take it even a bit further. And I pray that things will change in my country, but I also believe the change will happen when the slave masters give back to Jamaica what they deserve. A lot of these old, bigger countries, specifically even the UK, was built on the backs of slaves brought to Jamaica from Africa. And I think with reparation, a lot of infrastructures could be put in place to ensure more jobs, more opportunities for Jamaica in Jamaica. For me, I never dreamt of leaving Jamaica to work overseas. However, it so happens that I met you and I'm here now. But things never came from me like the same as it is for other people, because I actually had opportunities to do well in Jamaica with my nursing degree.
Right.
But unlike here, where I could get a student loan way easier, I could work and go to school. It was extremely hard in Jamaica because I couldn't work and go to school. I got my student loan, but it was still like not like a lot, not sufficient to cover all my tuition sometimes. So it's easier to get by in other countries. So for some people, they'll not return to something that it takes you longer to get there. If you need to do some businesses in Jamaica, it takes a long time because they're lackadaisic. That's a term we use in Jamaica, which means
isn't it lackadaisical? I think that's the.
It's lackadaisical, but we'll say lackadaisic. That's what we say.
You're Jamaican.
Yeah,
that's what you would tell me. You're Jamaican.
Yeah, I'm Jamaican. So I'll go ahead and explain that, which means that, you know, they're lagging behind. Their things aren't updated. Booby Bear?
Easier saying let the church say amen.
Amen.
He's just agreeing with us, that's all.
But with that being said, because we experience Jamaica in another light, my country is beautiful.
Oh man, it's paradise.
It's paradise.
What y'all see on TV, actually, it pales in comparison to reality. I mean, there are so many hidden gems in Jamaica that you will not be aware of if you're a tourist. So I'm glad that I got to experience Jamaica in living color due to my Jamaican queen, you know.
Yeah, and so if it is that you want to explore Jamaica outside of the tourist realm, get to know a local, but you have to be careful too, because as I said, some people aren't like the most trustworthy. Some people are less trustworthy than others, and it's the truth. So we have to be truthful, and here we're going to be truthful. It's the truth.
Yeah, this is the Truth Social Network, you know.
Yeah, so some people are not trustworthy, and I guess that's why some people weren't even trustworthy of me. Yeah, so the storage on the card was full. So basically just wrapping up and saying, you know, Jamaica is home, and it's always just felt like home. And I guess that's why we are one of the countries that have the highest return rates of residents. A lot of people will say they came to the US to work to go back so they have money to spend in Jamaica. It's just home. The food, the culture, the people, it's strong. And that's why for such a little country, we have such a great impact. Just 3 million people, babe.
Right.
3 million people.
Impacts the entire world. I mean, I don't know of anyone who's ever had a negative thing to say about Jamaica. Well, I mean, like, I guess you do have people saying negative things. But,
yeah, but most people.
But yeah, most people in their right minds, because the culture is addictive and the food is addictive. I mean, the environment. It's just so many things to love about that tiny island nation in the sun.
We've had so many great experiences.
Yes.
Our wedding was there,
and we're going back soon. Oops.
I really do hope.
Am I supposed to be leaking that out?
Whenever we get to go back to Jamaica, hopefully, as you know, you have to save money to go. So
we're working on it.
Whenever the Lord blesses us with enough cash, we'll definitely be
That's
returning.
Gonna be soon. That's gonna be soon, y'all.
We'll definitely be returning. Now we'll be doing vlogs in Jamaica, y'all. Trust me.
It's gonna be a surprise when we go to Jamaica, y'all. We're gonna surprise everyone. No one's gonna know we're coming. I mean, it's gonna be a grand time, and yeah, we're looking forward to showing those of y'all who haven't been to Jamaica. We're looking forward to showing you guys the beauty of this island.
Yeah, and from a different perspective.
Yeah.
We pray that things will improve in the infrastructure, in the economy, and that crime will be reduced. Like, for such a wonderful place, it's sad with the state of crime.
Right.
We don't want that. So even though it's not in like the touristy areas, but still, people want to be free to go anywhere they want. But again, that happens in every country where you can't go to certain places. Baby boy is tired and he wants to go to bed. He's sucking his thumb.
I guess that's our cue, right?
Yeah, it is.
So in the next video, we're going to be tackling the American dream. Is the American dream still prevalent, or have people lost hope in the American dream? Find out on the next episode of All Things Hoskins.
So
I'm Joseph.
And I'm Shanae.
And this is Izzy.
And we'll see you in the other one. Be blessed, y'all. Remember to like, comment. Please comment. We love to have discussions. Even if you don't agree, or if you want to have an input, go ahead and do so. We love y'all. Be blessed. We see you in another one.
And
all right?
Subscribe. Don't forget about subscribing. Please subscribe.
Road to 600. Like, we're 4 away from 600. Yay! We're so grateful. Like, we're what? 3 months in?
Yeah, we're just getting started, y'all. So thank you guys so much. This wouldn't be possible
without you. We appreciate you all, and there's a lot more to come.
Yeah.
Just stay tuned.
Love you guys, and God bless you.
All right, bye.
Bye. Say bye, Izzy.
He ain't.